Buddha.
What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the MoneyBagTruckn channel. I know. It's been a minute. It's been like 2 months since I posted a video, and I have good reason. I've been busy. I've been doing TNT. Anybody that's been out on the road, they understand. I didn't want to really record while I was out with my trainer. I just wanted to stay focused. I wasn't on social media really at all, unless, I logged into Instagram to answer some of y'all questions, which I do recommend. If you got any questions, shoot me a DM on my Instagram. It is in the description. I'll even put it up here so you guys can go ahead and follow it. It's the same as my YouTube channel. But man, I'm back. TNT is done. 30,000 miles. That's complete. I know I did a little bit more than 30,000, but that's okay. 30,000 is done. I just got an email about an hour ago saying that I am officially upgraded, and I'm also blessed to already have a truck. I know there's a lot of people here either still out on the road with their trainer or here at Campus Inn, one of the hotels around the area, waiting to get a truck. But yeah, I am blessed to already have a truck. Even though I am having some issues with that truck, we're gonna talk about that as well. But if you like any of my past videos, first off, I appreciate you guys for staying subscribed. For you guys that did stay a subscriber, I want to get those numbers up. Videos will be coming out more often. I'm gonna put out as many videos as I'm able to, maybe once a week, or every 2 weeks, whenever I can, because I am prepared to get back on the road, but I will be in my own space, so I'll be able to record some videos for you guys and give you guys some information. And again, if you got any questions, you can leave a comment, but the best place to reach me is on my Instagram. Now I'm gonna try to make this video short as possible. I do have a lot to say, but I'm gonna try to squeeze it in because I do have some things I need to do. I need to go take care of my truck, and it's just a lot that I gotta take care of. And I just wanted to make sure I recorded a video this morning so I could try to get that out for you guys. So yeah, man, I've been real busy with TNT. 30,000 miles, that's gonna take you about 2 to 3 months with your trainer. Me and my trainer, we pretty much ran about 4,000 to 5,000 miles a week. I just want to stay focused on my goals. I had the main reason why we are here when we come to Prime Inc is 1, to get our CDL, 2, to get hired by Prime Inc, and 3, get our own truck so we could start running and actually making some money. And I had these goals set in mind, so I turned off my social media. I decided not to really record while out on the road because I just wanted to stay focused, no distractions on my main goal, which I'm here. I'm finally, I know I've been hired since I got my CDL, but now I really feel part of the company, being that I got a truck, and I'm soon to be out on the road solo, making some money to hit those goals that I mentioned in my first video about buying real estate, want to buy some stocks, maybe buy a truck eventually. And I got a lot going on. I got a lot that I want to do, and I'm just glad I got this step out of the way. You got to enjoy the process. So first I want to say that TNT was not all gravy. It wasn't the best experience, and I knew that it was not going to be the best experience because one of the reasons why I did get into trucking was because I like my personal space and I like to run on my own schedule, and I figured that would be something that I would be able to do once I get out on the road. But before you get there, you do have to go on the road 30,000 miles with a trainer. And literally on day 1, as soon as I got in the truck, and I have nothing against my trainer was great. I'm so grateful that I had got him, and he taught me a lot on the road. There's probably some things he wasn't able to teach me because there is just so much, but he taught me enough to be dangerous where I'm able to actually get out on the road and make decisions that I need to make to keep myself safe and to keep the public safe, and to be able to deliver these loads on time and in a proper manner. But the first thing that I did notice when I got on the truck was, This place is entirely too small for two grown men to be living in. I commend to you guys, you know, who do TNT as a trainer or who team, but man, that place is really, I mean, the truck itself is big, but just to have two grown men in there, it's just too small, man. Like, my trainer did give me a shelf that I could put some of my clothes in. He gave me a bin that I had 2 shelves and that I could put some clothes in, and I also had 1 shelf in the refrigerator. But you know, over 2 months, you're like, dang, man, you feel like you just living out of your bag for a little while. And I already knew from the day one, I was like, yep, can't wait to be done with TNT so I can get my own space, because that's just the type of person that I am. I like having my own place to move, you know, move freely and do as I please. But when I'm in somebody else's space, I try to just be respectful as possible. I never even really pulled out my laptop. I have my Nintendo Switch with me. I never even really pulled that out as well, because I just didn't want to have cords hanging here and there. I mean, he said it was okay, but that's just me personally. You know, I just feel like I'm in somebody's space and I don't want to be in your space, because I don't like people being in my space. But I understand that I was coming onto his truck and I was going to be a part of it, but that was the very first thing that I did notice. Another thing, you know, you're running on somebody else's time. I was fortunate where my trainer pretty much had me running throughout the day, like anywhere between 5 in the morning till, you know, maybe 9 or 10, 11 o'clock at night. But I was usually running during the daylight hours, and he would typically run overnight. But you're running on somebody else's schedule. Like, my trainer, he did like to work out a lot, and I noticed that, you know, during my shift, me personally, I would like to drive 5-6 hours, sometimes even 7. Which they do recommend. I went to logs class this past week. They recommend that you run 5 to 7 hours, or I think it was either 3 to 7 or 5 to 7 hours, somewhere in that time frame. And me, I like to do that, take a 30 to 45 minute break, maybe squeeze in an hour depending on how I'm feeling that day, and get right back on the road and, you know, run out the rest of my clock, or, you know, another 150 miles or so. But being that you're with another person and I'm not running on my schedule, I'm pretty much running on his schedule. You know, if he worked out and wanted to shower and stuff like that, it may take 2 to 3 hours. So I'm on a break for 2-3 hours, and then I'm getting back on the road. And that's not something I'm gonna do personally when I'm on the road. Sometimes I like to get done early. Like, maybe I went to catch a basketball game that night before I went to sleep, and I would think like, all right, if I run these hours, take a 30, 45 minute break, run another 2 to 3 hours, I'll be done for the day. But when, you know, if he wants to work out and he wants to go shower, whatever the case was, I had to wait on him to get back on the road. And then by that time, you know, I'm feeling a little like I don't really want to go back to work because I had such a long break. Me, I personally like taking short breaks. So you're gonna notice that you're running on somebody else's time depending on how they run the shift. And that was another reason why I couldn't wait to get on to my own truck, so I can run the time pretty much how I want to. Now, this winter driving experience, this is what had me ready to like go home, because I don't know if you guys been watching my last couple videos. I live in Florida. I'm from New York City, born and raised, Brooklyn, New York. But I've been living in Florida for the last, like, I'm gonna say 13, 14 years. I haven't really seen snow since I was a teenager, and I've never driven in snow a day in my life until I got into a truck. I'm gonna say, when I first, like, now I'm pretty comfortable, you know, I know enough in the winter to be dangerous to run the truck. But when I first got out there, man, that thing was scary, bro. I can't even front, yo. Like, it had me a little shook. It was at one point where, you know, after I came off home time from my last video, when I came off home time for Christmas, we were leaving out of Utah. And my trainer woke me up. He's like, yo, wake up, come look at this. It's like 6:30 in the morning. He's telling me he only got to run like 300 miles over his like 10-hour shift because he wasn't able to go too fast. And I'm looking out the window. The roads are covered. I'm seeing trucks and trailers on the side, flipped over, jackknifed, and I'm losing my mind, man. I'm like, bro, I've never seen that before. So that's something that, you know, you got to be aware of. You got to mentally prepare yourself for being out here on the road, man. Like, I've never seen that in my life, so it would just throw me off like, man, that could be me, that could have been us, like, God forbid. I don't really think that way. I'm usually a positive thinker, but I'm like, but that just had me shook for a minute. And like that whole entire experience during that Utah, Wyoming, you know, up there on I-80, and I'm seeing like the roads covered and these trucks flipped, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, everything is telling me, yo, you gotta quit. Like, not quit driving completely, like, you know, I have my CDL and everything, and I know that there is a fee you have to pay if you leave Prime early, which I really don't plan on doing at all. Like, I want to stay with Prime for a little while, but it had me shook. I was like, man, I'm about to go back to Florida and try to find me a local job, but you know, you don't got any experience, so who's really gonna hire you if you haven't been out there on the road? Back to the story. I'm seeing cars all over the place, spinning, stuck in ditches, and I'm just like, man, it's nighttime, I can barely see the road. It was a little scary experience, and I'm still thinking at this time, like, bro, I'm going home, I'm going to Florida, I'm not doing this winter driving, this is too much, like, I don't know about it. I hit up one of my cousins, because one of my cousins, he's a truck driver. He told me to, you know, he gave me some words of encouragement and told me to stick it out. And that's what I'm going to tell you guys, man. When you get out there in the winter months, stick it out. If you got a good trainer, stick it out. If you feel unsafe, you know, it's okay to pull over. You tell them, let them know, like, man, I can't do this. Because we did eventually pull over. But I stuck it out the best that I could, because there was a reason why I came to Prime in the winter, and that was to get winter experience so that I knew exactly what to do when I got out there by myself. I didn't want to learn in the summertime and then winter come and I'd be scared like how I was when we drove. So yeah, I wanted to quit. I wanted to go home. I didn't want to do that no more. There was one other instance where I wanted to like leave, and it was like right after I came off of home time, because you know I was home for like 10 days, see my family and everything. Then we get back on the road, and this is on New Year's Eve. We like 40 minutes away from my house, and I wasn't comfortable driving at night yet. My trainer was driving all day, and he didn't want to drive anymore, so we just pulled over on the side of the road, like 40 miles from the house. And it's New Year's Eve, and I'm just sitting up top on the bunk like, bro, I could have been home and celebrated the New Year with my family. And I'm like, this ain't it, man. I ain't trying to do this. Like, and that was my thoughts in my head, but again, I stayed the course. Like, you're gonna have these days where you just feel like this ain't for me, I don't want to do this. Maybe it's not like complete, like you don't want to drive, but maybe you don't want to be over the road, maybe you don't want to stay with a trainer, maybe you don't want to do winter driving. But I'm telling you, man, stick it out. It's all gonna be worth it in the end. Keep your goals in mind, keep your why you doing this, because it is all gonna be worth it in the end. And again, just sticking around with one person for 30,000 miles, it's just, you know, I know that Prime did do 50,000 miles at one point, but which is great, which I probably do recommend for some people to do if you could stomach staying with another person for another 2-3 months. But again, I like my space. I like to run on my own, so I'm glad I did stick it out, because that afforded me the opportunity to get a Class A seat with Prime, move on to my own truck, and you know, get the ball rolling on these next goals. Like, I always just kept my why in mind. I keep my goals in my phone, in my notes, and I reviewed them almost every night. Like, I always just look through them like, all right, this is what I'm working towards. This is what I'm working towards. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'm gonna get there. Another part about like winter driving, I don't know if you guys remember or if you heard, you know, in the beginning of February, there was like a big winter storm that passed through the Midwest. My trainer was driving. It was about to be time for me to drive. We were on I-70 in Illinois, and we pulled over to a truck stop, man. First off, you can't even see the road. We pulled over to the truck stop. I'm getting ready to drive. I hear on the CB radio, yo, westbound shut down. Eastbound is about to be shut down as well. I was happy. I can't even lie, man. I was like, all right, cool, because on the way there, again, I'm seeing trucks jackknifed and turned over and stuff like that. And you do come to realize that a lot of these mishaps happen because you got a lot of these super truckers out here that just be flying down the highway, and like, you don't got to do all that. I'm pretty sure the customer rather receive their freight late than not receive it at all because the truck got flipped over or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to be safe out there. So that was one thing we went through. That next day, my trainer drove in the morning to where we were going. It was somewhere in Ohio. We got stuck in the snow for like 2-3 hours right in front of a load we were trying to pick up. Then it was time for me to drive, so I got some more winter driving experience. And then literally just last week, again in Illinois, we're traveling westbound on I-72. We were actually dropping off a load in Missouri, and then, you know, in a certain part of Missouri, and then coming down to Springfield. And I was driving. Now, this was I'm surprised that I wasn't scared during this experience. We're driving, and the roads are ice. Like, I'm not driving too fast. We do have to get this load. We're about 250 miles away from the customer. I was trying to push it, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I realized, okay, I could drive in the snow, I'm okay, but this wasn't snow, this was ice. And maybe we should have pulled over a little bit earlier, but we didn't. We stayed the course, and I kind of wanted to stay the course, but now I know, like, if the roads are ice, I'm definitely pulling over, especially if I'm seeing, like, if it's not safe. At one point we're driving, and, you know, I'm holding the wheel straight, going. I feel myself drifting to the left a little bit, but I didn't panic. The best thing to do in that situation is to get off the gas, steer in the direction that you want to go without oversteering. Don't jerk the wheel and all of that. Like, don't do any of that, because that's how you flip the truck and how you mess up. So I felt myself drifting to the left. I kept the wheel right, and, you know, just until I got my traction back, and then, you know, I slowed my speed down and I kept going. I was already going pretty slow to begin with, but I slowed down even more without pressing on the brake, because you don't want to lock your wheels on ice. That's a no-no. So, you know, I just stayed off the accelerator, kept the wheel straight until I slowed down, and then, you know, gave it a little bit of gas to keep going. At one point, we were traveling westbound. There was a truck in the westbound. It was a truck going westbound. However, he was in the right shoulder facing eastbound, so he's looking at us. At that point, as we passed him, there was a FedEx truck right in front of me, and he also did the same thing that happened to me happened to him. He started to slide, and you could see, like, his tractor turning all the way to the left, but not once did he press his brakes. You can tell that he turned his wheel back to where he wanted to go, and he was able to straighten out. And I noticed that, so I got off my accelerator. I didn't want to press my brake because I didn't want to skid into him. So I just got off my accelerator. I was watching my mirrors to see if any cars were coming, so I could, like, you know, move over if I was going a little bit faster, and, like, you know, pull up next to him or go past him. As I'm looking through my mirror, I see behind me a truck turned around and went in front of that other truck that was facing eastbound, and you hear on the CB radio, "Shut her down. The lane is blocked." His trailer blocked the whole lane. So at that point, we said, all right, that's it. We pulled over. And that next morning, we got stuck in the snow again. It's crazy, man. But, you know, I got that is why I came out here, to get that winter experience and understand what to and what not to do when you're out here on that road. Man, my camera cut out again. Anybody that's going to be upgrading or coming to TNT or coming to Prime Inc., just know that you will possibly be waiting 3 to 4 weeks after TNT to get a truck. So you may have to stay on your trainer's truck for another 3 to 4 weeks before you can come into Prime to upgrade. It depends on, you know, truck availability and class availability for the upgrading process. Again, I appreciate you guys for sticking around with me. I promise I'll be putting out more videos. I just had to take that break from recording while I was on TNT. If you got any information from this video, please go ahead. And I know this was one of the longer videos. That's because, you know, I haven't been